Here we go, into the chaos. Holy freaking G. All right, so I'm here in Seattle. I'm actually in a parking garage. I just got here because I had to find a place to park for a photo shoot that I'm doing tomorrow. The photo shoot is for True Northwest magazine. I'm right next to Pike Place Market in Seattle. I have to walk to the location, which isn't too terribly bad. It's like 4 or 5 blocks from where I'm at. Yeah, I just got here from Glazers rental department. What did I rent? Well, I rented 2 lenses. The 50mm, let's see, let's get some light in this BS. So 50mm 1.2, this thing is a chonky lens, but not nearly as chonky as the other lens that I got. The 135 1.8 G Master, because I'm going to be doing mostly portrait style photography, I wanted to pick up 2 prime lenses that I do not currently have. I also just recently shot for, again, for True Northwest magazine, and I was doing portrait shots down to the Everett waterfront. I used my 35mm and my 85mm. There we go. So my 35 1.4 Sigma and my 85 1.8 Sony. Not G Master, just the regular Sony. I'll post up a couple of photos here or just on the screen. That was a photo shoot for a woman named Mina. Super nice lady, has a really cool story, and her article will be in the next issue of True Northwest magazine. I'm going to pack this stuff up, start walking out to the next location, and I'll see you all there. Oh, forgot to mention, another reason that I parked here and that I'm gonna go walk to the next location is actually because I want to try and test out the 50mm and the 135 while I'm walking to the location. So since I'm at Pike Place Market, I figure what a better place to see and test out the lens than yeah, do some street photography. So okay, now before I start rambling, now I'm gonna go. See you there. In all honesty, I actually prefer Pike Place late at night when I don't have to deal with traffic and people. Yeah. Okay, onward. We are recording. Okay. Yeah, I didn't record in the store just because that was the first time that I was meeting Pamela. So I'll probably have more video tomorrow. I'll probably get Melissa, the owner of True Northwest magazine, to be my videographer. Get some footage so while I'm on shoot, so that way hopefully you guys can see what all's been going on. I'm gonna actually wrap up here, at least here for today. I'll be back at Simple Life clothing store tomorrow, like I said, and I think I'm just gonna kind of wander around and go use my rented 50mm and my 135mm, see what the hell I can get. So I will see y'all later. Bye. So, sorry for the awkward area, but I found a little workspace to work in, and I figured, what the hell, I'll utilize this. So, if the angle or the lighting or whatever doesn't look great, oh well, too bad. Wanted to recap a little bit about Simple Life clothing store in Seattle, which is the store that I shot for True Northwest magazine. I'm not going to be showing a whole heck of a lot of photos from there just because I was shooting for True Northwest magazine, so I don't want to showcase photos before the magazine issue goes out. But it was an amazing little boutique shop. Pamela, the owner, is a great lady, super nice, and we all had just an absolute blast shooting everything and getting photos and talking and getting to know each other and everything. Super fun time. On top of that, I want to talk about the 50 millimeter and the 135 millimeter. Why did I rent these lenses? Well, initially I rented just the 50 millimeter because I was finding that with the 35 and 85 mil that I have, they get amazing shots. They're very beautiful lenses for images and everything. I was having trouble trying to use them, and I was suggested to look into a 50 millimeter because I was also told that it's relative to the same distance or the same equivalent that we see with our own eyes. I don't know how true that is. I haven't researched it or looked into it, but I figured, oh, okay, well, that's cool, and thought I would be able to just see a composition with my eye and then bring up my camera with a 50 millimeter lens on it and just be able to almost instantly take the photo of what I saw with my eye, if that makes sense. Now, I could have rented the 1.4 of the 50 millimeters or the 1.8, but I figured if I had access to a 1.2 in all honesty, not a whole heck of a lot of money, then why not? I want to give a quick shout out to Glazers. Thank you for having your rental department and loaning camera equipment and all kinds of gear to photographers and videographers and everything. So super awesome place. If you are in the Seattle area and you want to rent a lens or anything, I would 100% suggest Glazers camera in downtown Seattle and have fun. I know I did. So the 50 millimeter 1.2 will 100% be going into my bag as soon as I get the money to pay for it. It is roughly around a $2,000 lens. As soon as I put the 50 millimeter onto my camera, I fell in love with it. I 100% understand now what my friend was telling me. I would see something, I would bring my camera up, and almost instantaneously I would have the composition that I was seeing. It made everything so much simpler, and it was, in all honesty, it was quite fun. It had brought that excitement back of like, oh, that's really cool to see something, and then just whoop, bring your camera up and go. So on the flip side of that, the 135, it shoots beautiful images. Don't get me wrong there, absolutely gorgeous. I struggled with it mostly because I feel like the 135 is more intended for certain types of photography, or at least different types of photography that I wasn't doing. I was suggested to pick up a 135 because I was going to be doing portrait style photography. It did amazing. Absolutely did amazing. Once I kind of got a little bit of a flow with it, I was using the 135 more to reach out and get that compression with that nice 1.8 aperture, so getting that background blur and the compression, and being able to kind of reach out a little bit further. It makes for really kind of cool and interesting photos, and I'll post up a couple of the images that I got with the 135. But yeah, like I said, I did kind of struggle with it. I have no doubt that that was 100% user error, and that was just because I was using it for street photography in a more enclosed area to begin with. So the first day that I went out. The second day I did use it out on the shoot where it was a little bit easier. I think I kind of already had my bearings with it a little bit better, and I was using it to capture some images of Pamela and her coworker just working. And so I would basically walk around the store and look for them and look for compositions where I could shoot through things or past things and get that compression, get that foreground blur and background blur and everything. Also, the 135 would work absolutely amazing for like modeled stationary portrait photography. I think it would be much easier, distinct, I think that's the word I'm looking for, but it would make for some very interesting photos, portrait photos especially. I did like the 135. I had a harder time trying to find a way to use it on this photo shoot in comparison to if I would have had it for the previous one. That's my thoughts on that. 50 millimeter, if you don't have a 50 millimeter, I 100% suggest going and picking one up. There's just something about it it's fun. It's just fun to use. And it doesn't have to be a 1.2. Like I said, I could have picked up a 1.4, 1.8, Sony, Sigma. This one happens to be a Sony G Master. But again, the only reason I picked that one up is because why not? I believe it cost me roughly about $35, $37 a day through Glazers. And I know you can also go through like lensrentals.com. And none of this stuff is sponsored, by the way. So YouTube, don't put me in jail for anything. But you can go to Glazers. You can rent from them if you're in the Seattle area. Lensrentals.com. I've looked into using them before. All right. Well, that's going to conclude everything that I have to say. So until I see you next time, I hope you have wonderful days, and I will catch you all later. Bye. Wow.